Boruto is a disgrace to Naruto in every way, watched us by Kish. And now, if we're just talking about the anime, I'm not gonna be too mad about this take here because the anime, it's like an 85% filler, bro. That's just insane. Now, if we're just talking about part one of like the manga, I don't think the manga is as bad as what people say. I don't think it should be as gassed as much as it is. But Boruto is a pretty decent series. And part two of it is definitely way better. But let's see what Iskish has to say. I'll leave the actual video down below. So let's hop straight into so.
Boruto as an anime has been destroyed and criticized so much for being terrible, with horrific.
Rightfully so, though. Rightfully so, because the show started like pretty much around the same time that like the manga was going. I'm pretty sure. Cause like, bro, there's so much filler in this show.
Animation and more filler than the human brain can comprehend. What even is the story? There's only one thing left to do. We're gonna do it again, except this time we're gonna put it up against Naruto. Now, comparing it to all of Naruto wouldn't even be fair, seeing as Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. Who the fuck came up with that goofy ass name? But see,
the name ain't too bad. It definitely is random. But it ain't too bad, though.
Boruto 2 Blue Vortex just came out. We're going to compare it to part 1 of Naruto only. Now, there's a million different starts of Boruto from Sarada prequel to...
Now, part 1 Naruto to part 1 Boruto, bro. I don't care what nobody says, bro. Part 1 Naruto, it clears this in so many ways, bro. I don't think part 1 has, like, a bad arc. From the Land of Waves to the Sasuke retrieval arc. And every arc in between, it's just like Boruto. Like, to be honest, a lot of shows cannot compete.
To the Boruto movie, to the Boruto anime, so we're just gonna go with the manga, the gold standard. The manga will overpower all in every situation. It's an all-encompassing energy that overrides that of any mere anime. So basically, after some hype over dramatic dialogue, we get to the real shit. And Boruto already has his cell, and he got some technology with him. It basically just throws you into the story where Boruto starts complaining about Naruto and Himawari's birthday. Sasuke pulls up and is like, "You ungrateful fucking brat. Shut the fuck up, you entitled piece of shit."
Now, one thing I really hate about this series, though, is how bad of parents they made Naruto and Sasuke. Like I don't know, bro. It's just, like, both of them grew up without their parents, and now these two are, like, basically absent fathers, basically. Like, bro, that don't make, it just doesn't make no sense to me.
Boruto's like, "Oh my god, train me!" See, we all remember how Naruto Part 1 started with Naruto failing to pass the test, stealing the scroll, saving Iruka, pulling up with 1,000 clones. It took time to fully show you that this is Naruto. This is what he stands for, this is what he's good at. Whereas Boruto starts off wanting to show you as many characters from Naruto and not characterizing the new characters in any capacity. At the end of the first chapter of Naruto, you don't fully understand the world, but you at least have a pretty good understanding of Naruto himself. And also the way they get the cell together, Naruto building up Kakashi to being the sensei with a huge stick up his ass that fails everyone, and then Kakashi just toys with them, but it all leads up to a message that's worthwhile when he eventually passes them. Boruto took no time to do that whatsoever. You get basically no entry time with this older Konohamaru, Sarada, who's Sasuke's daughter, Mitsuki, who's Orochimaru's son, or even Boruto himself. It just feels awkward. In chapter 2, he already learned a Rasengan. Naruto didn't learn that shit until 100 chapters in.
I do agree with the take on us not really knowing the, like, side cast for real, because even throughout all of part 1, really, the ones that we really see are Mitsuki, Sarada, class rep, Konohamaru was, like, around, but like everyone else in the class, we don't really get to see them for real.
Into the manga.
But in 2 Blue Vortex, that has been changing, and I have been enjoying that.
And Boruto can throw it and it'll disappear and come back. And then we also get Sasuke fighting Kinshiki. I don't know if I pronounced that right, I'm sorry. Which was pretty awesome, but that's just in chapter 2. And I understand you have a lot of carryover, but you can establish your world first and your characters. And this all leads right into the Chunin exams. And it's like, what is this pacing? Naruto took time to cook in the Land of Waves. It's peak. Sabuza had his...
But we also did already kind of see everything within this world. It's just, we've seen everything with the OG series. So like we don't really need to see it again, even though everything is like technologically advanced. I don't really feel like we need to see everything over again. Plus, part one is way shorter than what OG Naruto is.
All
Pretty
scared
sure
shitless.
Boruto is like 80 chapters
We
or
were as
something.
terrified as Naruto. The whole aroma around these characters were different just because of that arc, because we saw them terrified. And then Boruto's gonna use the Chunin exams to develop everyone? Like, what's the logic in that? With such an overflow of characters, you don't really care about them at that point. You don't even know Boruto yet, so you're gonna introduce all the characters at once? So what does Boruto do to mitigate this? These writers knew this, so what do these geniuses, these men at the absolute pinnacle of writing, Shakespeare himself couldn't think to do this. They make all the new characters clones of their parents. I mean, they've done it. They've solved writing in fiction. What else is there? Shikamaru? No. Shikadai. Like, come on, man. Zabuza was so cool. And the depth of world Land of Waves brought was awesome.
Well, Shikamaru, he looks just like his dad, and his name is pretty similar. I forgot his dad's name, but it both starts with Shika. So that's kind of like a thing that is like within this series for real.
Are you gonna do this to us? When we got lines like, I'm gonna kill you, and now we have to deal with Boruto cheating? Now, I'm not gonna lie, we gotta be honest here. Everything that happens after Momoshiki and Kinshiki was really sick, but it felt really sick because it felt like an extra episode of Naruto, because when Naruto absorbs the BG bomb, you were like, that's my fuck.
Because I feel like the tuning exams in Boruto wasn't like meant to build up everyone. It was basically just to showcase Boruto and his start of like growing and like understanding what it means to be a ninja for real.
Fucking boy right there. And when him and Sasuke link up, you're like, we are so fucking back right now, man. And then Boruto whips out a giant Rasengan and a new eye, and you're like, what more does he need, man? What other power-ups does this kid need? And then we get to the Ao Kawaki arc, and I suppose this would be compared to the tuning exams at the start. Now, the concept of Ao was really cool. It almost felt like Zabuza in terms of how ninja can go wrong.
It was cool, but I ain't gonna lie, I did not care about this arc that much. I'm not gonna lie to you.
And characters like this were needed. If you're gonna use characters from Naruto, use the ones that weren't fully fleshed out. Now that I think about it, it's hilarious Tenten got no screen time here too. You had three series to try and get some screen.
Nah, they did show her. Well, they showed her in the anime. I don't know if they showed her in the manga.
Time. I also like the technology integration here. Generally in Boruto, it's pretty corny when they use it. Naruto in front of a computer looks wrong, and why are they playing video games? And
yeah, it is crazy how much they did like advance within like how much, like 20 years, however old.
Original, it was weird, but like since there was no focus on it, you're like, it's okay, like I'm just gonna ignore it, we're just gonna go with it. But anyways, the sword fight happened, which was pretty sick, and Kanoharu being a little bitch, and then Ao really coming to kill everyone. Kashin Koji introduction, which ended up being really anticlimactic reveal. A lot of the robot android concepts started coming into play, but pairing it up against the first part of the Chunin exams and the Forest of Death, it's like, come on now. The Forest of Death was so dark and eerie. Sasuke looked like a man possessed. Naruto started receiving some really realistic development. I feel like a lot of other anime might have powered up Naruto to an insane degree, but nah. They gave him some moments and honestly creative fights, but he wasn't too over the top. But at this point, the vibe of Boruto is just so inconsistent and off from Naruto. It seemed like they had no way to actually progress their character. Like, the vibe of Boruto is so weird. It's like, you know when a company just tries to modernize for no reason? It was like, no, we were fine with it being the same thing as before, just a little bit different. But now it all just feels kind of soulless. Then we get Kawaki, and he's really the creme de la creme of this whole series, mainly because he's just different. He's clearly supposed to be like Sasuke, but he's also different than Sasuke in so many ways. He breathes life into the series. He lacks morality, but he's also strong. And the whole concept of him learning how to live, because he's actually operating with people who weren't trying to kill him. And it's interesting to see that in this world of Boruto that was so bland before. When you get his crazy backstory and the fact that he was sold off, I find it hard to believe the same people that made this also somehow made Chocho. They clearly know how to make good characters, but seemingly have no desire to do it again. But his fight was sick, and his dynamic with all the characters are pretty dope because he just doesn't give a fuck. The second half would be paired up.
The shining points of like all of part one Boruto is definitely Boruto and Kawaki. I think those two are like written really good. So yeah.
Up with the actual Chunin exams and
But
the
compared to Naruto and Sasuke though, I'm not giving it to them.
Gaara fight after in the fourth Hokage fight. Do I even need to gush about the Chunin exams? That is literally one of the best arcs in anime. You don't need me to tell you why it's better than whatever section it's matched up with. But that section is Kawaki and Naruto training, as well as Delta pulling up on Naruto. I still think the Naruto Delta fight was too competitive for literally no reason. Boruto needs to learn that it's okay for Naruto to one-shot opponents. And also the whole robot thing and leveling up villains. I don't know who thought it was a good idea, but they had no confidence in the fact that fans were okay with a smaller story instead of powering up everyone. Just have Boruto and everyone go on normal missions. They don't have to be fighting fucking robots. Anyways, in case you were wondering, obviously Naruto Neji, Sasuke Gaara, fourth Hokage, Orochimaru, Gaara Sasuke, Gaara Naruto. The Chunin exams were obviously better than all that, and Naruto Delta might be better than maybe Tamari Shikamaru. Keyword maybe. And if you think Naruto is better than Boruto, why don't you leave a like at this point, and let's get back into the comparison. Get to the Tsunade arc, and then Jigen, Ishiki, Naruto captured Baro, all that. So this is probably the most connected part of Boruto, and some people view getting Tsunade as a weakest.
Jigen is definitely the best part to me. I definitely liked it more than the ending. Yeah, I did. I definitely did like it more than the ending of it, but the ending of it I also really enjoyed.
Part of part 1 of Naruto, but I think a lot of people forget about Itachi and Guy in the beginning of the arc, and also the fact that Sasuke got told to fuck off so fast, and Naruto also learned the Rasengan here as well as all the other stuff. But Tsunade and Naruto's relationship is actually so cool, especially when you figure out it's because her boyfriend and brother died. That is actually something really weird to call cool. My bad. But Naruto working to prove her wrong and learning in all these unconventional ways was really sick. And then Itachi's second time in the series showing off these black flames, it seemed really badass. And as you can see, this is how Naruto is adding more to its world, because the Chunin exams close a lot of loops, and with this section you really learn about the Akatsuki as well as Orochimaru's motivation, all the while introducing Tsunade and helping Naruto grow as a character and pushing Sasuke closer to the edge. And it's probably one of my favorite moments in all of Naruto when he gets stabbed by Kabuto and he pulls off the Rasengan. So many
that's why I love Naruto, because they was introducing so many different characters and different plot points that just all just intertwine with each other. And Boruto, we were just seeing just like his story, like we didn't really care for anybody like early on. At least I didn't care for anybody really.
Times in anime when characters pull off a move for the first time, you're like, that is so hype. But nah, man, this shit was so hype. Like, Jesus Christ. Especially when he passed out after. And that's what got Tsunade out of her rut. And the three-way deadlock was so sick. But alright, on to Boruto, man. So this section is, of course, hype. But no one wants to see Naruto and Sasuke lose to some villain we barely know. Like, man, they didn't even stand a chance in that fight. Like, why would you write it in that way? Yes, the scenes were sick. It was cinematic. But come on, man. They literally had to run away. And
Yeah, but this was important because they had to definitely write them out of the story, because these two are just too strong, and they had to just give them spotlight to Boruto. Like it definitely could have been written differently, but I'm not really too mad at them for this.
Fine with Naruto and Sasuke not being the strongest. Truly, I am. But I also don't want them losing to some bullshit villain like Jigen. Some personality, even if his personality is having no personality, would have been better. Some more screen time. The Kawaki backstory was not enough. Not enough for him to be putting the clamps on Naruto, literally. And the Boro section was honestly pretty cool. Sarada has Ichidori.
I do wish that this series was like weekly, so that like everything can get built upon more. I feel like it being monthly, it definitely doesn't help its case. Granted, like I don't know.
Or yeah, because character development. Nah, but seriously, like I understand it's a monthly, the pace moves differently, but that moment would have been way better if we got a little bit more on that. But overall, it was cool. And then we get Boroshiki, who I actually think is a really awesome addition. Seeing Boruto, if you're gonna make Boruto be overpowered, making him overpowered in this whole zombie mode is pretty cool. And then of course they get Naruto back after he was captured, yada yada yada. This is all wrapped up with Ishiki coming back in Baryon mode and Rinne gone. Now the Ishiki thing is even worse because it's like they couldn't beat him before when he was Chikin. So now with no power-ups, how are they going to be a stronger version of him? They do that by sacrificing Kurama. And honestly, the send-off was okay, but then Borushiki came back and took Sasuke's eye. And it was like, bro, Sasuke was already getting beat by everyone. How are you going to continue hoeing this character? I know he was using the Rinnegan as an Uber, but still. Anyways, I'm just going to compare the rest of Boruto to Sasuke retrieval. So Ada gets introduced. Yes, she can literally do everything. I feel like at this point,
or how you said it, I don't really care for this character. I ain't gonna lie. She just feel like a plot device. I don't care about her love story or love interest in Kawaki. I don't really care at all for that. She just feel like a plot device with how she was like, with how she like made everyone like switch how they view Boruto and Kawaki, and into Blue Vortex, where she's like, she can like see what everybody's doing and just giving information to the leaf. Like, I don't really care for her at all.
We're like, okay, we're just gonna make everyone overpowered. So when it thinks about you, you're dead. You can see everything. Why not? Amado's secret motivation, irrelevant. Kashin Koji is just gone. Anyways, we fucked up his
now,
reveal.
I do think, what's his name?
You can see everything. Why not? Amado's secret motivation.
Adamo. I do like his reasoning. I don't know if they said it in part 1, but basically he wants to bring back Delta, who was his daughter, and he needs Kawaki for that. I don't remember why, but he does. That part I thought was pretty cool.
Motivation irrelevant. Kashin Koji is just gone. Anyways, we fucked up his reveal, so let's get rid of him. And then Code, yeah, let's bring him back, and let's take those limiters off. Wait.
Code, I don't care about Code at all. I think Code, sorry, I'm not gonna lie.
Wait. He's still not strong enough to beat Borushiki, though. And Boruto, let's put him on drugs, and then have Kawaki kill him. Wait, he's back. Let's just have Naruto and Shikamaru stand there on this battlefield. Wait, we gotta do something else. Let's have Code raise an army of 10-tailed soldiers, because everyone loved it so much the first time. Hold on. This is the key piece. This is gonna be great. They're gonna love this. We're gonna switch in everyone's mind so that Kawaki is Boruto and Boruto is Kawaki. You need it again? Kawaki is Boruto and Boruto is Kawaki. Why? Because of Ada. That's it.
I do like this, like, I do like how everything did switch. I wish it could be done differently, because I just view Ida as just a tool, bro. Like I don't care for her like at all. But I personally like this. But yeah,
that's all the explanation you need. Okay, actually the switch body things is really cool. Like, yeah, I may have presented that in a stupid voice, but that part of it was honestly pretty decent. But the story has no identity. The end of Naruto is this grand tale of stakes where Shikamaru is near death, Choji gives it his all, even Lee with the drunken fist, all building up to one of the most iconic fights in anime that drives Naruto and Sasuke apart. This was a true end to part 1, whereas in Boruto, stuff just happens. It was clear there was no direction at all. The focus of the series shifts all the time, and out of nowhere, Amado's character dropped off a cliff. Ida is sometimes the most important character, sometimes not. Kashin Koji is like, where's Waldo? And for whatever reason, Naruto and Sasuke get beat up more than anyone. Like, Naruto is literally captured by Kawaki at the end. The whole concept of the anime was weak, and it's bizarre when the blueprint is right there. I've been reading and watching Boruto since it came out, but solely just because of how much I like Naruto and the IP as a whole. But sometimes it really feels like this should have been about Naruto's grandson and not his actual son, or a Minato prequel, because Boruto being overpowered when it took Naruto so long to become strong, like, how do you expect us to connect with him in any capacity? I get the whole concept is that Boruto is the inverse of Naruto, a boy who starts with everything is gonna lose it all, which is the vibe of the manga at this point. But sometimes it's just like, why can't we just have a small ninja story again? Why does everyone have to be so absurd?
A small ninja story was definitely out the picture once they introduced Kaguya in them, gang. So that just wasn't gonna happen. Plus, they was already doing a whole bunch of huge stuff anyways, blowing up mountains and a whole bunch of stuff. So that was never going to happen. I personally didn't even want anything else after Naruto ended, personally. But now we're here. But Two Blue Vortex is pretty decent. I'm enjoying it.
absurdly strong. Like, why? Part 1 of Naruto has this homey vibe to it that everyone loves because there's actual development of the characters and their journey. So of course I downplayed Boruto throughout this whole video, and a lot of it was jokes, but it's just frustrating, man. So on that note, check out this comparison of Jujutsu Kaisen and One Piece because those two are actually
fire video. But yeah, Boruto, is it a disgrace to Naruto? No. Could it be better than than what what we got? I feel like it could have been if it was like weekly, so it could be like stretched out longer or something. Expand on more characters. You feel me? Right now, I don't really care for the cast for most of them, or at least in part one. In Two Blue Vortex, I definitely do care about more people because we see it more. Like in the past recent chapters, we've been seeing a lot of, I forgot his name, but Ino's kid. We've been seeing a lot of him. Um, um, Miwa, is that her? Himi, Himiwari. Who is Miwa? What am I thinking? But yeah, we've seen more of her. Class rep, I don't really care for that much. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I just feel like. Or also, she could die. We're also seeing more of, and his squad. So yeah, but Boruto is not a disgrace to Naruto, but it's not as good as people be wanting to hype it up to be, in my opinion. But yeah, I will leave his video down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and peace.